Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fish Market, where we teach you how to fish for gains. So in this video, we'll be talking about bETH and how you can use your ethereum and earn money while borrowing against it using the Anchor protocol. So let's get started. But before that, just wanted to say thanks so much for everyone for subscribing, because we just hit 600 subscribers and hopefully we can hit 1,000 subscribers by end of the year. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so bETH has arrived, and for those that watch Rick and Morty, that's basically bETH. Hopefully I don't get into copyright strike for this image. Alright, let's start off this video with explaining what's Anchor protocol for those who are new. So Anchor is basically a savings and lending protocol. It's similar to AAVE on Ethereum. So it's a lending market where you can save by depositing your funds inside, and you can also borrow and earn money. And you can actually earn up to 20% APY on your stablecoin deposits, and you can actually get paid more than 20% APR for borrowing money. So borrowers right now, they actually pay depositors over 20% APR, so it's a bit pricey to borrow money because you're basically paying 20% interest per year. But that's also why depositors can earn 20% per year as well. And the thing about Anchor is that it only accepts proof of stake tokens as collateral because it uses the staking rewards from the proof of stake tokens as part of its stable yield. So that's why it can also offer yield without fluctuating too much, like AAVE, where the deposits can actually fluctuate quite drastically from like 1% all the way to like 5% sometimes. So Luna is the only asset right now that can be bonded as bLUNA and used as collateral on Anchor until today. So before we talk about bETH, let's talk about bLUNA. So bLUNA is a company that makes face masks that protects you against COVID, and it's also made in Korea. I'm just kidding, guys. Let's go to the real bLUNA. Okay, so bLUNA, right, sometimes known as bLUNA, right, bLUNA is bonded Luna, which is similar to staked Luna, and you still receive airdrops if you hold bLUNA, right? So the difference is that in Anchor, if you hold your bLUNA in Anchor, it converts the airdrops for you into UST instead of the various airdrop tokens. So if you don't want to go through the trouble of claiming from all these various airdrop tokens and then having to sell them for UST, you can just basically put your stake Luna or put your Luna in as bLUNA in Anchor, and that saves you all that trouble because you can just claim your UST in one shot. But if you provide your bLUNA as collateral so that you can borrow against it, you actually give your bLUNA to Anchor. So Anchor is the one that receives all these airdrops instead of you, and they receive it and they can convert it into UST as well. So you stop receiving airdrops if you collateralize your asset. However, the bLUNA that you provide as collateral to borrow against, only the amount that is needed for you to borrow against is the amount that you stop receiving airdrops on, and Anchor receives them instead. So if you provide a lot of collateral but you don't actually borrow against it at all, you still receive the airdrops. But if you borrow against it and a lot of it, then you receive less airdrops. So there's a common misconception: if you basically provide bLUNA, you still earn the airdrops. You just need to go to the Anchor's bonding page and then click on the claims tab in order to actually see the amount of UST that you can claim. Yeah, so I hope that information was helpful. Okay, so what is bETH? bETH is basically bonded ETH, right? This is not the same as bETH in Binance Smart Chain, where it's Binance ETH. So they are both the same pronunciation or same spelling, both is bETH. But in this context, bETH is bonded ETH, which is a wrapped version of staked ETH. And what is staked ETH? Staked ETH is basically ETH that you stake on Lido Finance to earn staking rewards as part of ETH 2.0 staking rewards that you earn. And it's mainly built for, bonded ETH is mainly built for Terra ecosystem to be used as collateral in Anchor and borrow UST against it. So the reason for doing this is because in Lido Finance, they actually help you to be a validator, or not really be a validator, they help you to earn staking reward fees by providing as little Ethereum as you want, instead of providing the full 32 Ethereum to be a validator. So right now 32 Ethereum is about 80k. 1 year ago, I think I was buying 32 ETH for only around $200 per ETH, so that is about $6,000 to $8,000, so that's still okay. Right now, 80,000 ETH, that's quite a lot of money, so you may not be able to buy the whole 32 ETH to be a validator, and you can use Lido Finance where they pool the ETH together to allow you to still earn validator rewards or staking rewards based on the portion of the ETH that you provide. So bonded ETH is the first non-Terra proof of stake collateral in Anchor, so that's pretty awesome, and I foresee there's going to be a lot more to come. And when you provide ETH into stake ETH and you stake it into Lido Finance, you earn rewards. but in Ethereum, which might be good. But if you are holding it in Terra because you bonded it into bETH, you will actually not be earning it in Ethereum, you'll be earning it in UST because they will be selling the Ethereum for UST. So that's good for people who want to be a bit more risk off, where they want more UST instead of more Ethereum. And it's also good for Luna's price because more UST equals to more demand for UST. Okay, so just a quick introduction to Lido Finance. Not sure what happened to my bullet points, but basically Lido Finance is a liquid staking protocol for Ethereum and the Terra blockchain, and is backed by strong staking providers, and it has also been audited. So generally speaking, if it has been audited by strong blockchain security firms, it's less risky. It is not no risk, it's just less risky. Right now, you can actually head there with Luna to mint bLUNA, and you can also head there with your ETH to mint staked ETH. And one stake ETH is essentially one ETH, and you earn your staking rewards on an ETH when you stake it in Lido. And actually, there's quite a lot of Luna in Lido. Right now, there's about 1 billion worth of Luna, right? At 80 million Luna, around there, it's about 1 billion. And 700,000 ETH, which is about 1.8 billion, staked with Lido. And that's actually 10% of all staked ETH is with Lido, so that's quite a big number. So Lido Finance is a pretty strong powerhouse for staking as well. Okay, so let's talk about the current situation on Anchor Protocol. The total deposits and total borrowing are increasing, but total deposits, as you can see, is actually going up faster than total borrowing, so that's not good because it's not sustainable. And in order to solve this, we need more collateral options to encourage more borrowing. The reason why there are not so much borrowing right now is possibly because we could be in a bear market-like scenario. And if you borrow, you are basically risk on, and most people want to be safe during this bearish period where they want to be risk off. And also because in May, which is not too many months ago, a lot of people might have been liquidated in their Luna position in Anchor during the May Day crash. So that could be some reasons. But with the announcement of bETH, we can see that there is a lot more borrowing because there's a lot more bullish sentiment on Luna itself. And as the price of Luna goes up, people are more bullish on Luna and they are more risk on, and therefore they don't mind borrowing more against it. So you can see that yesterday the borrow amount was only up about 7%, but today it's actually up 16% compared to the total deposits that's only up 4-5%. So at this rate, the depositors and the borrow rate will catch up to the deposit rate, and this will make the whole Anchor protocol a lot more sustainable in terms of providing the 20% APY, and as well for the depositor side, and as well as generating more value accrual to the Anchor token. So in order to encourage more borrowing, we also want to have more collateral assets besides bLUNA to improve the total borrowings. So now that bETH has entered the picture, it's a lot better for the whole ecosystem. Right. Luna continues to go up as more people are actually bonding as well. If you see, the total collateral value yesterday was about 980 million, and today it actually went up by about 20+%. So that is now over $1 billion of collateral bonded in Anchor. The current total borrow is about 345 million, so the borrow ratio is around 35%, which I feel is quite healthy. The recommended not to exceed level is 45%, so we're actually below that, so that's good. And I think in order to increase the amount of borrowing, we shouldn't encourage more people to borrow against Luna because that's riskier. We should instead encourage more collateral added into Anchor and more borrowing against that collateral. So having more variety of collateral that can be added into Anchor would improve the borrow amount as well. So that's why bETH is useful. Okay, so what does bETH arriving on Anchor protocol actually mean? bETH is a proof of stake token because it's for ETH 2.0, and it is the second biggest market cap because Ethereum is right before Bitcoin. And this usually means that the bigger the market cap, the less volatile the asset is. So ETH, although it has dropped a lot, it hasn't dropped more than 50% from its all-time high at the moment. And if you count the top to bottom for ETH, it's only about 50+%. Whereas if you compare the top to bottom for Luna, it went to $22 plus and it dropped all the way to like $3 plus, $3.90 I think. And that is a much bigger drop compared to Ethereum. So ETH is actually a lot less volatile than Luna, although it is still volatile, but it's less volatile than Luna, which is the only asset that can be collateralized right now. And with bETH, that won't be the case anymore. So this is great for Anchor borrowing because when you can borrow more against a less risky or less volatile asset, usually that means that people will be more willing to borrow against it. And the increased collateral options for Anchor also mean that Anchor can diversify its proof of stake rewards. Because right now it's only earning rewards from Terra staking, but now with ETH staking, it diversifies its revenue stream in a way as well. And additionally, if we think about the amount of stake ETH inside Lido and how much that could enter Anchor protocol, if just 10 to 25% of stake ETH goes into Anchor from Lido, this is about 2 to 400 million worth of extra collateral in Anchor. And this creates a lot more yearly reward flow into Anchor, which is probably bullish for Anchor price as well. And if this news becomes a big news, right, there can be a lot more awareness for Anchor, the token itself, and it could get a lot more demand, and that could also mean that there is listing opportunities. Because right now, from what I know, Anchor is not really listed anywhere. And if we get a big exchange like Binance or Coinbase Pro listing it, that could be a big pump in Anchor's price. So probably there is a listing potential for Anchor, which could pump the price, similar to how Mirror Protocol's price actually got pumped once it got listed on Coinbase as well as listed on Binance. So that is potential for that. And additionally, there are more proof of stake tokens coming from Lido's side. So I heard that they are working on stake AAVE as well as stake Solana. And it should be easy for them to actually use this as collateral because the bridge is already built. And this could be good for Anchor as well as Luna's price, as more people are borrowing against it. Okay, so potentially all your proof of stake tokens belong to Anchor, right? So that's that meme. And the idea is that if this bETH launch is successful, right, due to the attractive yield that you get for actually getting paid to borrow, right? Remember, it's about 20% to get to borrow money, which is awesome, right? It's possible that Anchor would anchor down many other proof of stake tokens in the future as more bridges are built. So that will increase Anchor's AUM or TVL, as well as increase the deposit rates as well, assuming people are borrowing against it. And there are a lot more proof of stake tokens in the ecosystem, right? We have Cardano, we have Solana, AAVE, we have Polkadot, we have many, essentially any app in the Cosmos ecosystem, right, is a proof of stake token. So every single Cosmos app tokens could potentially go into Anchor as well. So the potential is quite big. And in terms of value capture for Anchor, generally speaking, the more AUM, assets under management for Anchor, the more fees it generates, and this is bullish for Anchor's price. So right now, the borrow APR, right, as you can see, the borrow APR is over 20%, has now exceeded the deposit APR, which is 20% APY. So the excess flow would actually go into the reserves, but 10% of this excess flow is actually used to buy back Anchor. So as more people borrow against their collateral on Anchor, this is bullish for the price, and we are seeing this effect happening where more people are borrowing against their collateral. So now that the borrow APR is finally higher than the deposit APR, it's probably a good idea to not sell Anchor at this relatively low price. But disclaimer, I don't really hold any Anchor. I hold like residual amounts. This is purely my personal opinion, but after this video, I might be buying Anchor. So and in terms of its valuation, Anchor right now is sitting at about 180 million market cap. And if we compare it with their market cap to TVL, it's quite healthy at 0.11. But of course, if we compare it with the fully diluted valuation, it's quite high at around 2 billion. But this is because Anchor still has another 4 more years of inflation. So they're not really hyperinflating their supply. It's over 4 years, which is quite a lot of time. If we think about it, AAVE started in 2017. So they kind of had a 4 years head start as well. And their market cap now is sitting at 4 billion. So I'm not saying that Anchor will go to a market cap as high as AAVE, but you could see that there is a potential for Anchor to continue to grow. Right. But because a lot of people are borrowing just to sell it, no matter what price, in order to get the yield that they want for earning to borrow, we could see it remaining undervalued due to all this selling pressure for a while still. But there are some risks when using all of these protocols like Lido Finance. So the most obvious one is, of course, the smart contract risk. Although it's audited, nothing is really fully risk-free. So rule number 1, don't put in more than what you can lose. And of course, there is a staking risk as well, because there could be liquidation and slashing happening on Ethereum side. And if you are providing bETH as collateral on Anchor and you borrow too much against it, if the price of Ethereum drops too much, there is also liquidation risk and things like that. There is a counterparty / custody risk of sort, not exactly, but because Lido Finance is a decentralized autonomous organization, the ETH is in the hands of the DAO. I don't think anything is going to happen, honestly. So this, I would say, is not really a risk. And there are bridge risks, because if you are moving from Ethereum to the Terra mainnet, there could be some kind of exploit or some kind of bugs between the bridge or that transaction, so things can go wrong. So just to take note. Generally speaking, I think most of this shouldn't be an issue because they are not anything new. But it's not a bad idea to wait maybe a couple of weeks after this is live, just to see and make sure that nothing has happened, and then to really try it with larger amounts. But again, don't put in more than what you can lose. And the steps to transfer bETH to Terra is generally quite simple. You just go to anchor.lido.finance. Make sure you have Ethereum, right? They have a step where you just click on the drop down menu and then select Ethereum, and they'll just convert your Ethereum into bonded ETH, and then just key in your Terra wallet address, and then it will just be sent to your Anchor. So it will be sent to your Terra wallet. But you cannot put it in Anchor right now as of this video because the governance proposal hasn't get accepted yet. It's just less than 1% away, so I'm pretty sure when you're watching this video, it might be accepted already. And then you can provide your bETH as collateral on Anchor and start borrowing against it and earning money while borrowing. Okay, so why is this good for Terra Luna? So if you onboard more stake ETH holders, right, they will actually use it as collateral to bring more liquidity, transactions, and TVL to the entire Anchor and Terra network. And the people who are actually borrowing against their stake ETH, or in this case their bonded ETH, they will want to get more UST, and this results in more Luna being burned, because the more demand for UST, right, UST price goes up, Luna gets burned. So as you can see in the past days, Luna constantly gets burned, right? It burns 500,000, 1 million Luna, 200k Luna. So a lot of Luna is getting burnt, and we see this continue to go up potentially due to the amount of demand for UST. And this is very good for Luna's price, and that's why you can see that Luna is more or less like diverging away from Ethereum and Bitcoin due to its pretty strong tokenomics. Yeah. Additionally, the partnership with Lido and the participation in improving ETH's decentralization helps to improve Luna awareness as well, and this could get more people interested in Luna projects, and this is very bullish for Luna ecosystem and Luna price itself. Okay, so just my ending conclusion. Despite the current low price of Anchor, I think it has potential to be as valuable as AAVE. I look at it and see it as the AAVE of Cosmos, essentially the Cosmos ecosystem, which there are a lot of apps which I will talk about in the future. Right, there is, after all, a finite supply of Anchor protocol, and it is a key pillar protocol created by Terraform Labs, and a lot of projects will be using it in the future. Right now, Pylon is a launchpad protocol that is already using the Anchor protocol savings feature as one of its key features. And many other projects, like for example, DeFi Land on Solana might be actually using Anchor protocol as well for its ecosystem, because Anchor is a credit market, it's a money market, and any kind of debt that requires savings and lending can just tap into Anchor, and probably a lot of dApps would want that kind of feature in their protocol. So I see a lot of demand and potential use for the Anchor protocol use case, and therefore this should add a lot of value to its governance token. Yeah, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys find it useful, and if you did, please remember to like and subscribe so that we can hit 1,000 subscribers by end of the year. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!